What's up, Conscious? Yeah, take
Got
off. Yeah, take
got
off.
you right on. Let me get these invites going on. You can you whenever you want to come in and say something, fine. Just mute up so I can keep it clear.
Oh yeah, I got you.
What's up, George Swerving? Hey, hold on. Got Immortal coming in here. We finna recap what we did last night. Hold on. We've been having a hard time. Elon lied to us. He ain't trying to let us get this on, get this off. We didn't try to private space like 4 or 5 times. This L, I mean L, he was at the reparations meeting speaking last night also. So hold on 1 second. Let me get Immortal up in here. All right, cool. I'm trying to see. So yeah, I think we got it. We got a stable connection now. Let me shoot you a mic real quick, George. Hold on 1 second. If you can talk, throw a thumbs up. I'm like the only person in at work today. It's all right. And thanks for the birthday wishes yesterday, brother. Appreciate that. Had a great birthday. This is one of the best birthdays of my life. Getting up there, giving them that work. Gave them that work yesterday. Fire. I don't know if you listened to it. Okay, cool. I got the text. Okay, yeah, just you sit on back. I'm just gonna I'm really doing this to record this and just do a recap. So cool, that's cool. Let me see. I want to see if Immortal can even get in here and listen. I'm probably gonna do all the talking and doing and replay the recap from last night and fast forward to the certain spots. Let me see if he can get in here. Okay, I sent out some invites. So I'm gonna go ahead and start this up. And I'm gonna let y'all hear me and Immortal came back to back, and then I'm gonna let you hear brother L let his that he came up and he spoke too, had a fire speech. We all came in there very organized. Met George swerving know how we swerve. We went 3 deep and we come organized. That's how we swerve, you know. So let's see. I'm pulling it up right now. Let's see. Trying to see. Okay, cool. I see the 100. All right. I'm pulling the my commission meeting again. We like I said, we've been at this for a minute. They got some type of shadow ban situation going.
Can y'all hear me? It is hating like hell. Let me invite all y'all up here. Anybody getting any invites? I'm saying I done sent out like 20 in I done sent out an invite to George,
Yeah,
everybody.
I'm gonna stay at I ain't gonna take co-host. I'm gonna stay as speaker. because I got a lot of people blocked. Maybe they have this problem with that. So I'm gonna stay a speaker. So I'm gonna throw the just deny the co-host.
Yeah, I threw Loaded and Georgia.
Yeah, I threw him a mic. George busy. He hit me on the back end. He at work too. So now I'm trying to get.
Man, if they ain't supposed to be in here, they can come. They can't come
I
in.
guess.
Or if I mean, if
I guess.
they DMing you, man, that's fine. But
Yeah, I got you. I go and take the co-host and go. I got it. All
yeah,
right, got it. I be too nice sometimes, even though I be. Hold on 1 second. So I got it queued up. Hold on. There we go. There we go. Immortal, you want me to put you on speaker? It thumbs up if you do. Okay, you busy? Go ahead and I got it queued up. I'm about to play your speech, and then here comes, and then we're gonna come right behind. And like I said, this on the timeline, but we just wanted to do this also, to be a little redundant or whatever. So there, here we go. In the Hamilton Heights. If you can hear the thumbs up. The information that presented to us, committee member presented to us, and I want you to know that I do appreciate all the efforts and everything that people have done to combat what we just heard about. So appreciate your work and what you've done to push it forward. So I want to read this quickly. I want to address the idea of using zero interest loans, housing programs, increased access to healthcare, and free college as forms of reparations for the historical injustices faced by Black Americans. Loans, by their very nature, require repayment and consequently divert money away from the Black community, potentially exacerbating economic inequities instead of addressing it. And it's crucial to acknowledge that 0% interest loans usually carry interest if not repaid on time, uh, which further underscores the problematic nature of using loans as a means of reparations. Reparations are not meant to be a transactional process where debts are incurred and must be repaid. Uh, they should represent a sincere effort to rectify the enduring impacts of slavery and systematic racism on the Black community. Facing the burden of interest if the loans are not paid on time even once adds another layer of financial stress and inequity to an already marginalized community. Uh, Housing programs historically have harmed rather than helped Black Americans, making them inadequate as reparations. These programs have perpetuated segregation, redlining, discriminatory practices, further exacerbating housing disparities in the Black community. Uh, the lack of agency in housing decisions can perpetuate the sense of disempowerment experienced by the Black community, further negating the transformative potential of true reparations. Now, cash reparations offer a more direct and effective solution, empowering individuals to address housing challenges. A comprehensive approach that empowers the Black community with the resources and the agency to establish our own economic housing opportunities is necessary to truly redress the legacy of slavery and systematic racism. Uh, while free education is a valuable initiative, it falls short
of serving as true reparations for the historical injustices endured by Black Americans. True reparations should empower Black Americans with the resources to establish our own educational institutions. This would address the centuries of slavery, segregation, systematic racism that have resulted in enduring economic disparities and limited educational opportunities for Black individuals. Uh, by providing the means to create and control our own educational institutions, true reparations can foster a more equitable and empowering educational environment for the Black community. And I saved this one for last, this comment on health. And I want to reiterate that I really appreciate everything that all the people who have been fighting for Black Americans to have some semblance of health care in this city. I really appreciate all your efforts. But I'm going to say this: increased access to health care cannot be considered reparations for Black Americans. The medical institutions, historically racist, have perpetuated discrimination and exploitation. Medical Apartheid by Harriet A. Washington underscores how these practices continue to fuel health. Thank you. Continue to fuel health disparities today. True reparations require empowering Black Americans to establish our own medical institutions using direct cash reparations to address our unique healthcare needs and promote equitable outcomes. And I really appreciate y'all letting me speak.
Okay, this me coming up right behind them. Pause. Hello, my name is Michael Gregory. I hail from Ferguson, Missouri. I currently live in the 13th Ward. I'm the owner of ConsciousOutlawMedia.com, the voice of Black Americans. I have a short statement I prepared. All my information and statistics come from the Brookings Institute, Reuters, and St. Louis Post-Dispatch. I demand cash payments because 1/5 of the sitting government, as I stand before you, enslaved people. Harriet Tubman transitioned in 1913. My maternal grandfather was born in 1918. His wife, my maternal grandmother, was born in 1919. My paternal grandmother was born in 1926. Her husband, my paternal grandfather, was born in 1911. In 1860, $3 billion was the value assigned to the physical bodies of enslaved Black Americans. This was more money that was invested in the factories and railroads combined. 100 sitting current Congress members descend from slaveholders. 28 Senate members descend from slaveholders. 2 Supreme Court justices descend from slave owners. 5 living presidents descend from slave owners. 11 governors descend from slave owners, including Missouri Governor Mike Parsons, direct descendants of Thomas Etheridge, who owned 6 people. Former U.S. Senator Roy Blunt and his son, former Governor Matt Blunt, also descend from enslavers, plus former Representative Sam Graves also descend from enslavers. In 1860, the major industries of Missouri were agriculture and mining. Those industries took full advantage of slave labor. The 1860 census of Missouri listed 114,931 slaves, 3,572 colored people, 1,182,012 people that were classified as white. When it comes to the lionization of pioneers of Black American progress, I nominate Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, Neely Fuller Jr., Dr. Claude Anderson, and of course, Dr. Martin Luther King. Black Americans in St. Louis need protected class status. Reparations can never be existing programs. That is not repair. Housing vouchers is not repair. Our enslavers gave us housing. Our enslavers gave us education. That is not repair. Our enslavers' descendants gave us free health care. That is not reparations. That's not repair. You ask, how do we pay this debt? Missouri is selling $4 million a day of medical and recreational marijuana. A tax levy could very much take care of that situation. We have, and with this conclusions, I'm going to take a excerpt of Dr. Martin Luther King's "I Have a Dream" speech on his March on Washington. We have come to our nation's capital to cash a check. When the architects of our republic wrote the magnificent words of the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence, they were signing a promissory note to which every American was to fall heir. It is obvious today that America has defaulted on this promissory note insofar as her citizens of color are concerned. Instead of honoring this sacred obligation, America has given the Black American slash Negro people a bad check, a check which has come back marked insufficient funds, but we refuse to believe that the Bank of Justice is bankrupt. Thank you. Give me 1 second. I'm about to cue up El Amin's statement. Hold on 1 second.
And that brother really had a powerful statement. Uh, so I really appreciate him stepping up. Uh, Another person standing on bloodline business in St. Louis. Really appreciate him. The flyers that he made and passed out it made a difference in the outcome of the attendance, and so I just wanted to throw that in. Um, Go ahead, Sam.
Okay, I got him queued up. Here come El Amin. Um, I'm gonna go past your government name too. Hold on. Well, I said mine, but hold on. I don't. I'm gonna do that. Hold on.
And I reside from the Academy Sherman Park neighborhood. And I came to speak about my view, well, not my view, but how I believe we should get this reparations claim, because it's really based in the financial abuses that they have put on the Black community. Like, they have intentionally destroyed our economic activity, all the businesses. If you go down MLK from Grand, I mean, not even from Grand, from Jefferson all the way down to, I mean, almost when it turns into St. Charles Rock Road, it looks like a wasteland. They do not want us to succeed over there. I mean, they know that's where we live historically. And on top of that, the financial abuses started all the way back in slavery. You know, they love to make the slaves sound like these inadequate people that didn't know how to do anything, but they built all the buildings around us, all the old buildings. All they were skilled laborers, and they love to refer to them as nothing or just in the field all the time. But the field work was even harder back then because they didn't even have machines. But we figured it out, and so even when figuring it out, we weren't paid the same. And I think that's the real problem with what happened. They did not pay us with all the labor that we did. We've done labor for 400 years and we haven't been paid the same. That's why we need to demand cash reparations. I mean, from even up to today, and it looks different, but it's the same thing. Not getting promoted to the supervisor job, or not even being or even having incredibly low home valuations. Your house could be 3 stories, have seven rooms in there, 3 bathrooms, but they would still value it under $100,000 because they don't want to live in that neighborhood. We need direct cash payments into our bank accounts for the whole family. You know, if I had to put a number on it, I'm demanding $500,000 a person for each family, and that's just how I see it. You know, thank you for your listening.
Thank you. Thank you. So that was our three statements. Um, I fast forwarded. And we gonna go in there, but yeah, buddy L, he came in there and he put the gauntlet down. He said we need 500,000 cash, and we that's where we starting at.
I like the fact that he put a number on it. I really like the fact that he did that. We really have to push this commission in the direction we want them to go. Now, I think that St. Louis Reparations Commission, I think that we have it a little better than a lot of people did, because when you look at the Reparations Commission, All of those people live right around in St. Louis. Most of them on the black side of town. Most of them seem to be black Americans, except for the one Caucasian guy. Now, don't quote me. I mean, you do your research, but as far as I've been able to tell, but because I was kind of wondering about the head of the commission. I can't think of her name, but she's leader of the Action um, organization there in St. Louis, and I think I got a chance to speak to her mother. I think that was her mother. So if that was her mother, then yeah, she's Black American. Her mom's when I got a chance to speak to her, told me about some things that they are doing, and when I spoke to her mom, I could tell, yeah, okay, she's a Black American. So hopefully I got that right. Um, we kind of unique in the fact that really all they're doing is gathering information from the public um, to compile that information to give it over to the Board of Aldermen and the mayor. And then the Board of Aldermen and the mayor will get together and determine what they're going to do with the suggestions. So if we keep on pushing, keep on coming up with our reasoning, keep on explaining why we have to have lineage based cash reparations first and foremost, uh, we keep uh, putting that on the record, then that's what they'll have to go on. Now, coming up in the next two reparations commissions meeting, um, is going to be held on the South Side, and the South Side of St. Louis has historically been predominantly white. Um, and if you go through, I think Conscious shared a uh, an announcement by Fox 2 News here in St. Louis. They did a tweet, and Conscious tweeted that out. And if you look in the comments there, you see all kinds of white supremacists getting highly upset. If you look at anything that the news media or anybody, even me and Conscious, you start looking at the comments and you see the white supremacists coming out the woodwork. And so I know that they're going to try to show up in force at the Southside Reparations Commission's hearings. They're going to try to show up in force down there and flood the zone with their talking points, so that when it goes to the mayor and the aldermen, they'll try to flood us out with their talking points. But we need to be ready for that by galvanizing as many people as we can to get down to those Southside commissions meetings in August and September. And we're going to try to pull out all the stops, for September. You know how it goes down. Pull up September 2022 continues. And so, for September, we're really going to try to show out. So uh, that's what I had for right now. And again, right on to Ami L for stepping up, creating those flyers, increasing the turnout that we had. We had a real good turnout. Uh, Shout out, hats off to that brother for the work that he put in. And I think I'll leave it at that. I want to say more about the response, but maybe I'll let Conscious, start off with that. If you want to talk about the response that we got to our statements. Now, anybody can go and to the St. Louis City YouTube and check it out for themselves, and you'll see for yourself the response. But I just wanted Conscious to touch on that, and maybe I'll have a couple of words for it too.
All right, so yeah, I got in the jumbotron our statement so we don't have to recap or be redundant for anybody that want to share it or just check it out on their own or whatever like that. But at we had a much better turnout, and fortunately I go to my ward meetings pretty regularly, and I have a good relationship with all my neighbors, and all my and my aldermen did not show up, but the former alderman, the one I helped win the special election, she was able to email blast it, and a lot of people that showed up in force, and a lot of elders. And I'm going to beat my chest just a little taste and let people know that I got my big mamas. They rock with me. All the big mamas in the hood around here, they rock with me. They. I'm their son. You know what I'm saying? We were approached afterwards by a lot of elders, and we all know that the elder women run the communities. They're the ones that can check, and the youngsters a little bit. If they can't get a youngster checked, they'll come to one of us to check them. And it's a lot of respect. We still have a lot of old school respect going on here. So we got a lot of compliments from the elders, and then I think we was able to galvanize and bring generations out. The lady, the commissioner from Action St. Louis, she brought a bunch of young people, and they just sat and took notes and listen to what we said. And then, L, he came in and he had his statement, and he was ready, prepared. He's a young guy too. I ain't gonna say his age, but he in his 20s. You know what I'm saying? So we got some fire, just like George. We got some fire. We got some fire young people that's coming right behind us. Like we 1-2 punching this. You know what I'm saying? We got the blessing of, I'm just gonna let y'all know we got the blessing of our elders in our city. We got it.
I do want to say though, like, and I think this for other cities that need to practice this. A dude came up behind me, not even from St. Louis, not even like on. He wasn't even there. I mean, what he spoke about had really nothing to do with reparations. He was like, we need to learn how to fish. We don't need no money. We don't. And I was just like, this is some. I don't even want to call them trained opposition, but why did you get up there when people up there telling you we need cash reparations? You gonna get up there right after them talking about some. Nah, do we? If my son asks for $200, I'll say, do you want to earn it or do you want it right now? I was like, that's the craziest thing I've ever heard somebody say. That we supposed to be the son and the government is the father asking for $200. Like, come on, man. I just couldn't believe it. Like that was from real opposition up there.
Yeah, he gaslit. He gaslit our statements. Hello, Namomi. Check out the jumbotron. That's our statements to the commission. I would say it again, but I don't want to be redundant because it's a recorded space. But check out me and Immortal and brother L's statements. We came up there and we did made statements. So yeah, he was trained. He said he wasn't from St. Louis. He was from Baltimore, and he was called in. We don't know who called him in, but after Mortal spoke second and I spoke third, and then Brother L spoke, and then this little guy from Baltimore came in and basically gaslit the whole everything we said. He said black people are irresponsible with money. Um, we're beggars. Basically everything. So I'm gonna be a little facetious, and I'm just gonna say maybe Baltimore had a lead paint problem back in the day, and maybe Buddy was eating a lot of lead paint chips when he was a kid. I don't know. He might not have understood what we were saying. I'm just saying.
Well, I see exactly why you say that, man. But yeah, he did say that he was called in, and the point that he was trying to make, as far as I could tell, is that um, whether we get reparations or not, and I know that we are, but his point was whether we get it or not, there's a lot of things that we need to do. I got that part of it, but when he starts talking about, uh, well, I asked my son, do you want $200 today? Or you want $100 today? I give it to you. You want $200 later? I mean, he really didn't bring that full circle. The point he was trying to make, I really didn't get that part because, like Brother L said, what that got to do? Like the government ain't my daddy, and I don't need the government to teach me anything. We have expertise. We got experts in every field of human activity. We do. And all they need is the resources that's owed to them to create the circumstances and situations that, can help us thrive. And so all that uh, talk, it really didn't vibrate with me or the people in the audience. Um, yeah. And as far as, yeah, that's what I'll say about Cuz, man. His points, he wanted to come in teaching self determination, bootstrapism, and stuff like that, but he was off the mark. We teach our kids. It's nobody's business. Another point he made. What are you gonna do with the money if they give it to you? None of your. Hey, me and Contra was moving around in our seat when he was saying, "What you gonna do? You gonna go buy shoes? You gonna go buy this and that?" Man, don't worry. Listen, to each and every individual Black American, when we get our reparations, that's your money. You can do whatever you want to with it. If you want to go buy it up with shoes and you want to give it all to all these white name brands and all that kind of stuff, if that's what you want to do, you want to give it to the Germans for a BMW. You want to give it to I can't even think of Gucci and all these different. Now you want red bottoms and all that kind of shit. You want to spend it up on that? Go do that. That'll be about a third of us. Another third of us are going to retire. You saw if you watch that reparation commission, you'll see a lot of elders in there who had words to speak, and those elders, those people, they're going to retire. They're going to fix up their homes, pay off all their debts, and start traveling and living life like they never lived before. You know, with the time that they have left. We had one brother in there, was 85 years old. Told you how they came through St. Louis spraying DDT on the population, and he lost several siblings. So that man's probably going to, if we can get it for him, he gonna get his reparations and try to live, his best life with the money that's owed to him. So that's another third of us. But the last third of us, man, we're gonna build all the institutions that I was speaking on, all the medical facilities that we need, as we have done before. We had Homer G. Phillips. That man said that that's where my mother was born. My mother's a native of St. Louis City, born there, born here. So, born in Homer G. Phillips, one of the best schools in the region. I mean, not schools, one of the best hospitals in the region. And they decided to close it in favor of another hospital outside of the Black community, in spite of the fact that research was done to determine which hospital would be best to keep open and which would be closed. And they said, and like the brother said, they found that Homer G. Phillips was the best run hospital in just about every aspect. It wasn't even close. So, and in spite of the recommendations that came down, they still closed it. So we're going to rebuild hospitals like that. We're going to rebuild some of these colleges. We're going to and take over for ourselves, do it for ourselves. Anyway, let me let Leon rock. What's happening with you, family?
Ah, shit. What's going on? What's going on, fam? Uh, Conscious Immortal. Everything y'all said. I actually watched that shit the whole live joint. And yeah, y'all knocked it out the park, man. I was just talking Conscious before. Y'all like Batman, Batman and Robin for real, cause y'all all hit points. And yeah, I remember, dude, cause he was talking about some Gucci suit. He like, I ain't wearing no Gucci suit. I'm like, dude, what the hell? But you know what? Control opposition, man. They always um have their talking points, but they'll never come around full circle or what the hell they mean, because that's not what they do. All they're to do is read off that set shit they gotta say. They'll say it and leave the room. You know what I mean? Quick as they can. You know, because they don't even want you to talk to them. Because they don't even want they don't want questions, because they ain't gonna 9 times out of 10 they ain't gonna have the answers. So that's all I had to say on that. Shout out to you brothers again. You know, y'all put in work. You know, minding your state like you're supposed to. My land there.
Right on, Leon. And I'm glad you was able to watch the whole thing. And now, like I said, I think the link is in there. Yeah, I would advise anybody to watch it all the way through because it's a lot of history in there. And I remember when I was a kid, they used to have that spray, that mosquito bug spray, man. When I was a kid, they still was doing that in Ferguson as a kid. I believe but they was calling him the smoke man. The smoke man came down spraying that stuff. They probably stopped doing that as a kid, probably by the time I was a teenager, I stopped seeing them. But my dad told me that, when he was growing up, they ran behind those mosquito machines that was supposedly spraying for mosquitoes, running through, and it would fog up. And, to this, it probably caused a lot of problems, So they was experimenting on us with that stuff. I think they were spraying them supposedly mosquito stuffs through the streets of St. Louis for probably about a good 30 years, constantly. You know what I'm saying? From the city to the county. So it was very good. Like I said, the elders they really was impressed. We got a lot of compliments. They told us we the ones holding the torch. They came out, and a lot of the we coming in because we know this is really a politics or a warfare situation. So we came in directly, unemotional, logical, and factual. And the elders come in and they come in with their stories that's invaluable, with their experiences. And it was a lady that came in there, even though she had an ADO shirt on, she explained how her parents had a paid for house and a housing program by the name of Beyond Housing. They suppose it's like a break off Section 8, but they literally took her and three other families, paid for houses, rebuilt houses where they were, and then put that program houses, basically Section 8, and put people into the Section 8. And then on top of it, these areas don't even, they're food deserts. So they go build, and those we all know about Section 8. You gotta tell them your income. When a male becomes 18, he can't live there no more. And then they come inspect your house once or twice a month. You have to reapply and all of that. That stressed out a companion of mine so much that it really ended the relationship because she had to make her oldest son move out because of it being on public housing, and her neighbors would like snitch if they thought a male stayed there more than like 14 days in a row, because that's the limit. See, that's why we was trying to explain to people about giving us agency. Immortal talked about giving us agency to do what we want and empowering us. So it was good. It was more for than against. I believe this time we didn't have any Pan Africans show up, um, and the points were so crisp that at the end of the day, the commission spoke directly to the fact that they said, "We hear you saying y'all want cash." And they even told us continue bringing facts and raising the bar and elevating us because they're leaning on us and they're wanting to have something to compile to bring to the mayor so it cannot be refused. So, it'll be a bad political move on the mayor's part if she wants to get reelected next her when her term is up or same time with the presidential election. It will be pretty much political suicide if she makes us spend all of this time to compile all this information and get all of this support through the community, and then she just takes it and does whatever she wants to do with it and doesn't take into account what we are literally demanding. So, I think we're positioned very well here in St. Louis, like Immortal touched on. Our task force, as far as we can tell, is 90% Black American. Our task forces, and I don't, I none of them hold any thing. No NAACP members, no Urban League members, just professionals. We got a doctor. He spoke on the health. He's a commissioner. Then we have another historian. She's a has a doctor. She's a Black American, and all of them grew up, from what it seems, in St. Louis. They got roots here. They raised their kids here, And he had a good presentation showing about how just by living in a zip code, he gave us paperwork. He showed that living in a particular zip code reduces your lifespan. Go ahead, Immortal.
Yeah, he spoke on the health disparities, differences in the neighborhoods and the quality of life there and how it affects the lifespan for sure. Uh, I kind of want to touch on the response to our statements. And like I say, anybody can go and you can watch the thing in its entirety. But at one point, the historian lady let us know that um, our righteous indignation is was appreciated. Well, I'm at work, man. I can't really finish what I wanted to say, but uh, they heard us. Long story short, um, she mentioned it. The the one brother, he said he appreciated how we keep unfolding more information every time we come back because I guess they figured we wasn't going to be able to elaborate on some of the things and give solutions uh, and give ways to do what we want to see done. So he appreciated us coming. They encouraged us to come back, both in the video. You'll see where they encouraged us to come back, and they also did that privately too. They came to us, and thanked us for what we were saying, and told us to keep it up. Even the head of the commission, she she said y'all bold. You go listen. She looked at us. She's like, y'all bold with your with your advocacy, and I guess that's what we need. So even we starting to win them over is what I'm trying to say. The commission, they may have been facing one direction, one set of options as the best, but we kind of was are winning them over, man. And if we don't get what we're asking for, it won't be because they didn't write it down and deliver those demands.
Correct, correct. I do believe they're going to give it a good faith effort. Like I said, I have full faith in our commission here in St. Louis, even though we weren't able to pick. And I believe that whoever picked them just picked professionals. And a lot of people lean on academia, and they think that they have the best way and experience and stuff like that. So I'm not gonna fault them for that. And like I said, a lot of them are elders. A lot of them have good information, and at the same time, people always if you want to get something from somebody, make sure you put something in it from them for them. And when Brother L said $500,000, I know all of their ears perked up. I know all of them looked at, no matter what station you is in life, if somebody say I can drop 500 racks on you, I think you would take it. That's an incent that incentivizes. And when I in my speech I spoke on Dr. Claude Anderson. So that's and that they're academics. I spoke about Dr. Francis Cress Wilson. Those, and then I pulled the Martin Luther King horse string. You know, then when they heard those words, some of them grew up those words. Some of those people know those words word for word, and they know these professionals. So when you get certain people saying like, "What are we gonna do with the money?" That actually shows that you're not real red. That shows that you don't have the intelligence. If you don't even understand the idea of self-determination, of how to practice group economics. If you haven't studied any of those things, or you don't even know where to go, and worried about the next person, That's a problem. So another thing that I realized too is uh, a lot of I guess you would say others was in the crowd, but our local news station made a point to dip out before the comment section and dip out when the commission member Dr. Ross, when he starts speaking on actually how the racists shut down the hospital. The news station dipped out. They didn't want that on their. They didn't want that on their microphone, and they didn't want that on their camera. They didn't want their sins to be exposed. Go ahead, El.
I just wanted to speak about how when people talk about how the money is going to be spent, that's why I want to really push through the financial aspect of it, because like you was telling me from the first meeting, like you was saying, people getting up there, they emotional, and I saw it yesterday. Like one of the people that was watching from home, they texted me, they said, why are the women getting up there and speaking about everything that's not reparations? I was like, man, we got, that's why I was like, we gotta kind of get everybody on that sign up sheet together so we can collect everybody, and like, we got to go up there and be preaching the message like you all are saying. But I really want to tap into how much, because like we done found these people actually own slaves. They paid money for these people. Like they paid money for slaves. And so you could put dollar amounts to the labor that was done. And if it's not, if the labor isn't given, if the money isn't given in the end result, this ain't got nothing to do with y'all giving us money. This is money owed at the end of the day. Like that's why I really, now that you was like, because now that I see the commission is really people that's just, they coming in to get the information. Like they not at home doing the research. That like they depending on us to do that. So I'm really about to push hard on that financial aspect from seeing what they was actually impressed by us talking about. But I'm about to let y'all go. Y'all can talk again. My fault.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, thanks Denise, Miss Long for coming in here. You know me, I know you. We had our commission meeting here in St. Louis yesterday. In the jumbotron is the link to the whole meeting and the statements. If you want to speak, you can be more than welcome. Just request the mic. We're just recapping what we did, what we said, what we spoke on. Like I said, you can check the jumbotron and check the tweet for the it's a 9 minute video that goes for me and Immortal. We went back to back, and then the brother L, he spoke and he went after, and he actually put a number on the reparations that we're asking for. We put the gauntlet down, and we said we want 500,000, because the way they have the set up here locally, this is a local reparations initiative. This is not a state or federal reparations, and this is an executive order for a study. So this is like a microcosm of HR 414 or HR 40. We're studying this all the way through the end of this year, coincidentally the end March, right before election time. And so we have a lot of professionals on our commission, and we're trying to let them know what's going on with what we're requesting. And I go back around what brother L said, that amount that I put out on my statement. Yeah, what 3 billion was the amount placed of the valuation of the bodies of the slaves in 1860. 3 billion was the valuation in 1860. Then 250 million was the valuation on the cotton pick, just the cotton, not to talk about the other industries. So, and I used Reuters to explain to people that 1/5 of our government is descended from slave owners, enslavers. So that shows that they don't have any incentive to tear down their generational wealth, because that's what they're looking at it as. If they give us reparations, they know that they're giving us what they owe us, and it's possibly they know that they may not be the class of people that they want that they are anymore. We will be able to have self-determination and produce all kinds of tools for us to succeed. We'll be able to send our kids to to colleges that we create and give them the best educations, homeschool associations, and take them out of homeschool, find on code Black American doctors, and start forming clinics that we can take them to, insurance agents, lawyers, skilled labor. Like they really know that we coming to build, and we're not gonna they can't do what they did last time. They can't let us build ourselves back up in real time and think that they're gonna destroy what we did. They did again. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna go. It's not gonna be allowed. The world eyes. They did all of those destructions in Tulsa. All of that in the background. There was no TV. There was no mass media. There was no the connectiveness, the to and froness that we have now. So go ahead, Immortal.
Yeah, man, I'm glad you said that part because that last sister that spoke on the day that they closed. It was the other hospital. We had another hospital, uh, and
Regional.
she was talking regional, right? So when they closed regional, she talked about how the guns was brought out on us and things of that nature. It was like a miniature Black Wall Street attack, really. The way that they did that. So if y'all watch the thing in its entirety and check out the sister at the end when she was talking about how they forcefully came in, militarized and came in and took over that hospital. And her thing was too, how are we gonna stop these hostile takeovers? That's a good question. I have answers for that, but there's a time and place for everything. So, as we progress and as that point comes up again, I'll be talking more about how we deal with situations like that. But yeah, she really pointed it out how they just came in with guns blazing, helicopters circling, and just threatened threatened us and did a real hostile takeover. So yeah, that's what point I wanted to make about that.
Yeah, see, I was too young to know about that, but I'm so glad we had our elders come in there and tell us what they witnessed with their eyes. I couldn't imagine helicopters surrounding a hospital and herding sick people out because they want to close it down. And like Dr. Ross came in and said, Homer G. Phillips was one of the best performing hospitals at the time, and they chose to shut it down just because it wasn't on the side of town where I guess the whites were comfortable coming to or whatever like that, and to force the black professionals that were doctors to force him to go service basically slavery service the white people. It's a sad situation. My father was born in Homer G. Phillips, and he had sickle cell anemia, and because of the poor condition, the poor treatment, not the condition, because of the medical apartheid that he received, my grandmother became a CNA, and she was able to get him free health care at a private hospital from I guess about the time he was about a teenager through to the end of his life. He always had the best of the best doctors and the best insurance, and he was able to live well past the life expectancy of a person with sickle cell anemia. He lived to be 65, and that's with multiple surgeries, all kinds of medications. That was like routine. He had three doctors that I always knew. He had a specialist, a blood doctor, a surgeon that dealt with him, physical therapist, home healthcare nurses if he had to take a IV medication at home versus going to the doctor. So everybody isn't fortunate to have those things, and I was blessed to be able to do that. But even with that being said, I had to learn how to be a sentinel at like 6 and 7 years old because the mistreatment of the nurses and the staff. You know, I literally grew up in a hospital, so it's a lot of things, but we just had to make sure we redirect the conversation to Cash and let them know what is it. Immortal laid it out very specifically how business loans is in reparations. Um, education is good, but free education is in reparations, and things of that nature. And I came in and doubled down on what he said and straight up said plainly, our enslavers gave us housing. And our enslavers gave us medical care, whether it be up to par or not. And our enslavers also get to this day give us free education, indoctrination. I wouldn't even say it's education. So those that have the agency to go put their children in charter schools, magnet schools, and stuff like that, or homeschool, are more fortunate. But everybody, because of our situation of oppression, we have to work 9 to 5 jobs. If it's not a single, and I come from a household with a mother and a father, and even though my father had an income because he was disabled, it took his income and his income and my mother's income for us to have a middle class living situation. And when we moved in Ferguson in 1984, there were 4 black families, and we caught the beginning of the gentrification of Ferguson. And some of the and all of the families that lived there, they were all United Auto Workers. They were skilled laborers. So we were like, I guess you would say, straight up middle class, like straight up middle class. We all, a lot of my friends, we played baseball on Pee Wee baseball leagues. Stuff like that. We took swimming classes, but we had to utilize facilities in the white areas. And like I said, as soon as we started coming, by the time I moved out of Ferguson, by the time my parents sold their house in Ferguson in 2000, the whole neighborhood had been totally flooded
You
with
talking,
drugs, crack. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Can you hear me, Conscious?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, see if you can talk now, Conscious.
Yeah, I can hear you. You can't hear me?
Hey, put a thumbs up if y'all can hear me. You can hear me now, Conscious? All right, yeah,
Yes,
you
sir.
talking. My fault, I had to leave the building real quick.
Oh, you good. I see Leon got the co-host. Okay, cool. Yeah, that can hold the connection down. What's going on, Davey? I'm just recapping our commission meeting. Me and Immortal and Brother L spoke, and we demanded cash payments. It's a local city initiative, but so we gave them a low number. We told them 500,000 per person inside the city of St. Louis. We were nice. Go ahead,
Also,
Immortal.
also, Dave, I want you to know that the alderman that Conscious supported all of last year had 2 victories. She won the aldermanic special election. She won the she was able to win the runoff with another uh, alderman, but in the end, we ended up losing by 150 votes. Now, uh, you asked one time, it's like, well, what was her reparation stance? That she has that in her platform, and we was like, no, that's not what she's running on. Now, I want you to pay attention and look at the fact that this now that same lady sent the flyers that Brother L made out to all her contacts. Um, and she's been promoting behind the scenes this reparations commission so that more people from our ward will come out and make the demand for cash reparations. She's in the background working, helping us. Okay, I want you to know that. And I also want you to know that this reparations commission, the recommendations that they put out, will be given to not only the mayor, but to the board of aldermen. And if we had been able to get her in position, we would have had a very our district, our 13th ward would have been covered. We would have been covered as far as advocacy, as far as looking at this the way that we need it looked at. because they would have had to. She would have been one of the people they had to answer to, but we lost by 150 votes, family. So that's why I wanted to make the point to you, David. Just because she didn't run on a reparations platform, we understood that, but we saw the long haul, the long game. You see what I'm saying? We saw this coming. That's why we tried to put her in position because she's sympathetic to reparations and everything that we're saying. So I just wanted to throw that out.
Yeah, and coincidentally, the lady that won, that beat her out by the 150 votes, she did not show up to the commission meeting, and I gave her basically a heads up 2 months ahead of time, and the benign neglect was put on. I'm gonna just put land right there. So
And
yeah,
kind
go
of,
ahead.
if you would, while we're at it, go ahead and kind of, if you want to recap the alderman meeting that you went to, kind of let us know anything you want to know about that too, because we're doing a lot. So kind of let them know about that too, family.
Okay, so I'm gonna let you get it, Davey, one quick moment. So like I said, I'm very active. The 13th ward is the largest ward in St. Louis as far as square footage, and it's the most one of the most. It is probably the densest population of Black Americans. So I show up. I'm endeared to a lot of the Thank you, Denise. I'm endeared to a lot of the elders. A lot of the elders, they respect me. They know my work. They know what I'm trying to do. And this last meeting, what they're trying to do is continue. Uh, no, not Spencer. No, just no, 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 not her. It was the all. I'll just say it like this: the alderman that's sitting currently in the 13th ward. Her name is Pam Boyd. Miss Pam Boyd. She was a sitting alderman, but when they condensed St. Louis from 22 wards to 14, that forced her to run against my alderman and the one in the special election. So just real quick before I let Davey go, we have a lot of old schools and abandoned buildings, and so we have the Phoenix corporation is coming in, and they're trying to put a federal halfway house inside my ward, and they came pitching to us, and they're trying to put a floor with federal releasees in the top floor, men one, women in the other, and then they're trying to sell it as something for the community because they want to put like a computer lab and services in there. But I was very poignant, and other people asked him what kind of people are going to be coming to this halfway house. And literally, they're going to let all the drug dealers, sex offenders, and murderers come into a neighborhood that is crime ridden and full of prostitution and drugs. These people will be able to come walk out of their halfway house, walk down the street, and take part in all the despicable vices that have been plaguing us.
I
And we're
really want, sir, I really wanted you to talk about the efforts at the alderman meeting to get the word out about the reparations commission, because these problems that you're highlighting, that you're fighting for down there and all that, that's really our local business, that and people really don't care, but people do care about reparations because you know it's a national topic. But I really was hoping that you could highlight how you were galvanizing your ward, man, for this reparations thing.
Okay, so yeah, basically, I came in and I told the sitting alderman that I needed to put out some information. I came back, brother L produced some flyers. He passed some out, and then I was able to bring attention to my ward to let them know and that they need to come out and make their voice heard because this meeting was actually in our ward, and it probably won't come back into our ward as they move it around the city because they say they're doing that for equity, so they can make sure everybody inside the city of St. Louis has a voice and that they can chime in on how they think that we should receive our reparations. So she was very kind, and she gave me a few minutes to speak at the end of the last ward meeting to bring awareness to the fact that there was a reparations meeting basically down the street from where we meet once a month. And she let me do that. I made some connections. I was able to give people my website, consciousoutlaw.media.com, that I own, where I'm keeping track, a digital library of all of these reparations meetings and all of my statements. So yeah, that was very instrumental, and they got the elders to really back me up. I will say this with pride, that all of the elders in my community fully back me and everything that I'm doing on this reparations push, and they're not pushing back at all. They're not. They got us. So go ahead, Davey.
Yeah. Hey, what's goody, y'all? What's goody? I don't got too long to talk. I'm gonna be definitely listening, because I know y'all have been active in your city. Shit, y'all, this shit ain't nothing new for y'all. You feel what I'm saying? So I definitely like hearing the updates. I make sure I try to catch our brothers, you know what I'm saying, in Detroit, keep up with our people in Cali, keep up with shit. We need some more people checking with some eyes, hands, feet, ears in Boston, you know what I'm saying? So I was just showing some love and appreciate that update. One thing I would say, shit, one of the candidates that I was helping out in Florida, he completely backed out, um, in its totality. I would have rather saw it through to a defeat, you know what I'm saying? To get that notch up under your belt, get that experience. So, shit, shouts out to what y'all were doing for y'all aldermen and everything of that nature. And shit, and conscious, you kind of already cleared up what I was gonna say from that last time. There is a distinct difference between how people are going to support you on this platform, based on whether it's local involving reparations or local not involving reparations and things like that. So man, when y'all get those things y'all want me to share that's focused on reparations and stuff, man, send that shit directly to me, man, so I can share that shit. If it's something that is just a local issue that you just waking up to get some more attention, shit, send that shit to me too. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I know you active in your area and stuff like that. If it's anything I can do to share, support, find resources, y'all know I like to do that deep digging on certain situations. Shit, my desk kind of clear right now, you know. So if there's anything that I can do to help, shit, just send it to my man. All y'all, I think I follow all y'all still. Let me make sure I'm following Immortal New. I don't know if that's his new page or his old page. And let me follow back L. Shit, if y'all got something y'all won't share to see if I got something from a different perspective, man, y'all just DM it to me, and we'll just keep the consciousness and awareness going. No pun intended. But yeah, so shit. Even though it was an L, what you say, about like 150 votes or something, shit, that's still a victory because now you know what that gap is. You know what that difference is when it comes to, all right, I know if we can convert these 200 people, we still got our old constituents. That should be us in the bag, and then be able to go forward there with just that more data and metrics. So man, shouts out to y'all. I know y'all had an arduous situation there with how they tried to kind of do like a special gerrymandering, redistricting type of shit, which is, you know how they've been utilizing those things in the past to diminish our power when we start speaking in force and speaking in numbers. So it's obvious and apparent that y'all doing something, fam. So shouts out to y'all, man. I need the Lou to get that bag, fool. You feel what I'm saying? I didn't get the when I was in KC. I didn't get the chance to come back through St. Louis too much, but I did see those abandoned buildings that you was talking about. Y'all got a lot of them that can go to good use for the community. I think that's on the east side of what's that main highway? Shit, I'm all the way in Texas right now, but you know exactly where I'm talking about. It's like a whole bunch of brick buildings, like the old brownstone bricks and stuff like that. We could definitely utilize that for y'all people in y'all community. So, shit, man, shouts out to y'all. I'm gonna start babbling. I'm just proud. I'm excited. I'm about to go to Austin, and I only got one black restaurant that they sent me, so my stomach not feeling as best as it should. I usually need like 2 to 3 restaurants. You feel me? But shit, man, shouts out to y'all. I'm gonna drop back down and keep listening. I'm probably like an hour away
Hey,
from where I. Yeah.
Davey. Hold on, before you drop out, you do know the same specific reparations thing that we're doing, that same organization, the More Mayors, they're doing that in Austin also. So the Texas family might need to get on that because I don't know there. I think we had the first reparations, More Mayors local reparations commission that's fully formed, is underway, and I believe Kansas City has one through their a local reparations initiative. So yeah, that's going down in Austin. You might want to dig
Oh
into
yeah.
that. Check that More
Oh
Mayors
yeah,
out.
so I'm tapped in. Well, shit. While I was in KC, I met a whole ass of people on the Missouri and Kansas side. So I'm still helping them, like, get information to different people that they wouldn't have come across that I came across. So shit, I'm still helping out with them. And man, one of the main reasons, man, who was that senator? He a senator or a house rep. He trying to pass a bill talking about, any state that does any sort of, yeah, I'm looking into that. You feel what I'm saying? That's extremely interesting, and there has to be some sort of repercussions to even the attempt to do something like that, to go along with all of their co-sponsors as well. So yeah, if y'all got anything, send it to me, man. I'm about to hop back in this whip though and get on this road. All right, but yeah, safety and
Okay,
shouts out to
safe
y'all, man.
travel. Safe travel. So yeah, the number that we put locally is 500,000. Maybe we could all speak in the same voice, when it comes to that, when they bring the More Mayors in. How you doing, Miss Dr. Denise? How you doing today?
Hey, Conscious, not doctor yet. As a matter of fact, I'm getting ready to get on, finish up writing this thing because it's due in a few weeks. But I just wanted, I'm doing good. I wanted to just say thank you for sharing. I dropped into the space last night to hear some of what you guys were clarifying about the 500K, and I'll watch the video at some point today or tomorrow. I just wanted to say thank you for the work that you guys have been doing in the St. Louis area. St. Louis is a particularly, what's the word I want to use? Bad doesn't encapsulate, it doesn't like capture it enough. But the racism, the segregation, I'm glad you mentioned, I heard y'all talk about Homer G. When I talk to people about the community trauma in the area, Homer G always comes up for older Black Americans, including, Gen Xers who were born there. And then, Pruitt Igoe, and just a whole list of things that just the ongoing segregation, the idea that, your health, wealth, and well-being can be very consistently, accurately predicted in the St. Louis area, depending on your zip code. All those things are just needing to be redressed. The way the governorship and the folks set it up so that the school districts don't benefit from business or any of that kind of, it's just a hot mess. So I appreciate the work that y'all are putting into holding people accountable, and I hope this gets somewhere, and I hope they don't try to turn. So one of the things that I've discovered about the St. Louis area is if there's a not-for-profit opportunity, they're going to try to turn it into some not-for-profit being the beneficiary and holder of funds, and then a whole bunch of white people working there with some Black folks to make it look good, to give them validity, and the people will be no better off for what has happened. So keep it at direct, and keep it lineage based. I won't call his name, but a very prominent philanthropist. He and his wife, uber rich people from the St. Louis area, sort of try to call me to task for advocating specifically for Black Americans many years ago. And so I know you can handle it, and you will call people on their mess, including Black folks who are, I think many Black people who are considered leaders in the St. Louis area are scared of white people, and they're captured by the white purse in the St. Louis area, and very few people speak truth to white power. So I appreciate you all for doing that for the Black folk who are towed, as well as to white folks who have become quite accustomed to being in control. So thank you for all you're doing. That's all I wanted to share.
Thank you. And keep close eye
Hey,
on this. And keep go ahead, Immortal.
yeah, thank you. I'm sorry about that, fam. When I'm at work, so when I get a chance to chime in, I have to kind of jump in. But there was uh, uh, a sister who got up and spoke and talked about how the reparations really needs to come to us directly, because if the politicians and people like that get a hold of it, we'll never see it. She actually said that. So, and that kind of goes along with the point you were just making, sis. So I just wanted to throw that in there.
Yeah, it's a pervasive thing, and I had an argued down conversation appearance, whatever, with an organization on the other side of the state about reparations, and they kept talking about what if it's a nonprofit, what if they have to go to a bank, and I just kept hitting them with, it needs to be direct. You need to cut a check directly to the people. There is something, I don't know if it's in the genes, right? If it's people understand that when you put the money in the hands of the people, they're no longer dependent. But the idea of direct cash payments is something that they don't want to see happen. And that's exactly what needs to happen. As I tell them, the wealth was extracted from individual families. We didn't have to go to no institution, right, to get the wealth extracted. You need to give the money back to the people, and you just got to hammer that into them, and then they'll get to the financial literacy mismanagement thing. Well, that's great, but that's not contingent upon a person getting the cash payments. That is something that they could do, right? And we should support that. And this is a multi-generational thing. It's not just that the people who are in the room at the moment are going to be repaired. It's a multi-generational harm. It needs to be repaired multi-generationally. So let's talk about what that looks like. With Tashara, your mayor, I was really pleased when she set up the scholarship, how she set the parking ticket violation scholarships up to benefit the students. I haven't seen any impact assessments of that for students, but research shows that even if a student has $500 saved toward college, they are more likely to go to college. So I hope that that's been impactful. But given that she has done that, I'm hoping that she can appreciate the benefit of direct payment and direct benefit, and think about the multiple ways that could look. But definitely cash in the city that has been harmed so significantly, so intentionally, so multi-generationally. I hope that they can see that.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
That's why I went down the line talking about healthcare access. That's good. It's not reparations. Housing initiatives. That's good. It's not reparations. What else did I say? The loans I wanted to put out, because this is one of the, see, my statement was really a response to the Brookings Institute um, paper that they wrote a couple of years ago. And they named how they gave cash to the Japanese, and talked about how they gave cash and resources to Jewish peoples and Native Americans, so-called. And but then at the end of the Brookings Institute paper, they started talking about these options for us. And the point I got back on the mic to make is the reason why they want to do it this way rather than give us the cash is because if you notice, each one of those methods leads the resources right back out of the community. So if you go back and look at Black Wall Street and what they were doing, that dollar was circulating through the community down there 30 days or more. The dollar has kept circulating. Well, if you look at loans, even if they're zero interest loans, that's a loan that has to be repaid. That's streams of income going outside of our community. And again, I'll reiterate the point I made at the meeting. Um, those zero interest loans, they can carry interest if you miss a payment. If you are one day late on a payment, that interest will kick in. It will kick in, and it will not be the interest that you deserve based on your credit score. They're going to gouge that. So that's a trap. And like I say, it's an avenue to lead revenue out away from us. You look at school free tuition or school vouchers. Well, That's giving money to institutions that we don't own and control. So then there's another pathway of money right back out of the community, and so on and so forth. Even with housing, unless you about to set up a whole class of Black American landlords and property owners like that, then it's the same thing. The resources flowing right outside the community. In New York, a mogul has been made from renting out under Section 8. And you know how they do. They don't care about the property. They just care about that money comes in every month. So that didn't help us. It only made some certain people outside of our community rich. And the other point, there was four of them I went over, but each one of those leads to the money immediately going outside of the community. It actually never even reaching us, never even touching our hands. And I think it's a great insult to come to somebody who you owe money to. Because I tried it on my mom, I tried it on friends and family. I said, hey, look, if you loan me $100, now I got your $100. Now it's Friday, it's payday. Now I come back to you. It's time to pay you back. But instead of giving you your $100 back, I tell you, hey, check this out. I'm not going to give you your $100, but what I will do is I will loan it to you at no interest, as long as you pay me on time every week. Do that make sense to any of you? Somebody owes you something, and in order to repay it, they're going to loan it back to you? No, reparation is not about creating debt for our people. This is owed to us. So I just wanted to make that point that the reason why they don't want to put it into our community is because they're scared that over a critical mass of us are going to keep that money circulating within our community and build. That's what they don't want to happen. Another Black Wall Street. That's why they don't want it that way. That's why they don't want to give us the direct cash payment. I'm not worried about all the people who are going to go spend and waste it, because those are going to be my employees. So this is a shout out to all of you. When we do get our reparations, and you want to go give it to the journalists for a BMW, and you want to have all the finest and the red bottoms. You got 10 pair of red bottoms in your closet, and you want to do all that. Well, great. That's great. Just get you some non-slip shoes too, because I'm gonna need you to come in and do some work for me. Because when it runs out, when we do finally get, I really believe in federal reparations. So when we do get our reparations, don't look for people outside of our community to employ you. Don't look for people outside our community to support our businesses. Don't look for it. And I do believe in financial literacy. I do believe that we should prepare ourselves with financial literacy education so that we can take full advantage of our reparations. But at the same time, it's not, I don't think it should be a requirement. You can't require people to jump through hoops to receive what they're owed. You owe me something, don't come to me with stipulations you already owe me. So I landed with that.
Let me
Hey,
go ahead, Denise. Go ahead. You got it.
I'm sorry, I should have raised my hand.
No, you good.
Everything that Immortal said, I champion all of that. Thank you. Well stated. You're absolutely right. Turning your analogy is beautiful. I wish I were better with analogies, but I absolutely love that. And so mine is exactly what you said, but your analogy of it helps people to connect with the absurdity of you telling me to get in debt for you to pay me, you making me a consumer of a business and considering that repayment. And the other thing I was going to say is when that happens, they're going to fund this somewhere, right? Whether they do a bond or a loan or something, right? So that fake money, number money stuff, right? But then you are giving real money that you have earned. You know what I'm saying? So you're coming up with the real bucks, and the other stuff is digital dollars, so to speak, as I like to call it, in terms of how our fractional fiat banking process works today. So that's the other piece of it, is that the money that you're giving to repay the debt is real money that somehow you've had to sweat, work, whatever, in order to have available to deliver. Whereas the other money that they're moving is digital money that they just done created out of thin air. So it's cash reparations on top of policies, practices, and procedures. It's really in St. Louis and the other areas that you guys talked about, well, everywhere. It's also implementing processes where these people who are abusing their power in a way that's harming Black Americans are taking out the paint. You lose your credentials to practice as a police officer, whatever that certification is that you took when you do that nonsense that you do. If you're an attorney and you are improperly driving, a prosecutor, you're improperly driving Black Americans uh, to plea bargains, and or you're selectively prosecuting, you lose your, you have some kind of censure, some kind of reprimand on your record, and you could potentially lose your license to practice if you doing this kind of unconstitutional stuff. We have to be that merciless about these people who are harming our children, corralling our men, women, boys, and mothers, and all the people, right, into incarceration, treating them poorly in healthcare situations to the point that people have medical trauma and they're afraid to go to the doctor. Not just they don't want to, they want to. They're afraid to go because of how they've been treated in the past. Like, these kinds of things can no longer stand. And we honestly have to be okay when people show their, I'm not going to cuss in your space, but when people show their hind parts, we kick them in it because they asked for it and they deserve it. People treat you how you teach them to treat you. And if you give too much grace to somebody who's trying to take you out, then, you're helping them do that. I'm going to stop talking and I'll go back down to listener, but thank you guys.
Thank you for contributing. I queued it up because I played our statements in the space earlier, but I want to let it play it back again for the people in the space. There's a lot of people in the space really quick. So here goes. Immortal goes before, and then I go, and then Brother L had a statement. So I'm gonna play it back again.
In the Hamilton Heights. Well, I want to say I appreciate the information that you presented to us, maybe never presented to us, and I want you to know that I do appreciate all the efforts and everything that people have done to combat what we just heard about. So I appreciate your work and what you've done to push it forward. So I want to read this quickly. I want to address the idea of using zero interest loans, housing programs, increased access to healthcare, and free college as forms of reparations for the historical injustices faced by Black Americans. Loans, by their very nature, require repayment and consequently divert money away from the Black community, potentially exacerbating economic inequities instead of addressing it. And it's crucial to acknowledge that 0% interest loans usually carry interest if not repaid on time, which further underscores the problematic nature of using loans as a means of reparations. Reparations are not meant to be a transactional process where debts are incurred and must be repaid. They should represent a sincere effort to rectify the enduring impacts of slavery and systematic racism on the Black community. Facing the burden of interest if the loans are not paid on time even once adds another layer of financial stress and inequity to an already marginalized community. Housing programs historically have harmed rather than helped Black Americans, making them inadequate as reparations. These programs have perpetuated segregation, redlining, discriminatory practices, further exacerbating housing disparities in the Black community. The lack of agency in housing decisions can perpetuate the sense of disempowerment experienced by the Black community, further negating the transformative potential of true reparations. Now, cash reparations offer a more direct and effective solution, empowering individuals to address housing challenges. A comprehensive approach that empowers the Black community with resources and the agency to establish our own economic housing opportunities is necessary to truly redress the legacy of slavery and systematic racism. Uh, while free education is a valuable initiative, it fails, it falls short of serving as true reparations for the historical injustices endured by Black Americans. True reparations should empower Black Americans with the resources to establish our own educational institutions. This would address the centuries of slavery, segregation, systematic racism uh, that have resulted in enduring economic disparities and limited educational opportunities for Black individuals. Uh, by providing the means to create and control our own educational institutions, true reparations can foster a more equitable and empowering educational environment for the Black community. And I saved this one for last, this comment on health. And I want to reiterate that I really appreciate everything that all the people who have been fighting for Black Americans to have some semblance of healthcare in this city. I really appreciate all your efforts, but I'm going to say this: increased access to healthcare cannot be considered reparations for Black Americans. The medical institutions, historically racist, have perpetuated discrimination and exploitation. Medical Apartheid by Harriet A. Washington underscores how these practices continue to fuel health disparities today. True reparations require empowering Black Americans to establish our own medical institutions using direct cash reparations to address our unique healthcare needs and promote equitable health outcomes. And I really appreciate y'all letting me speak.
Hello, my name is Michael Gregory. I hail from Ferguson, Missouri. I currently live in the 13th Ward. I'm the owner of ConsciousOutlawMedia.com, the voice of Black Americans. I have a short statement I prepared. All my information and statistics come from the Brookings Institute, Reuters, and St. Louis Post-Dispatch. I demand cash payments because 1/5 of the sitting government, as I stand before you, enslaved people. Harriet Tubman transitioned in 1913. My maternal grandfather was born in 1918. His wife, my maternal grandmother, was born in 1919. My paternal grandmother was born in 1926. Her husband, my paternal grandfather, was born in 1911. In 1860, $3 billion was the value assigned to the physical bodies of enslaved Black Americans. This was more money that was invested in the factories and railroads combined. 100 sitting current Congress members descend from slaveholders. 28 Senate members descend from slaveholders. 2 Supreme Court justices descend from slave owners. 5 living presidents descend from slave owners. 11 governors descend from slave owners, including Missouri Governor Mike Parsons, direct descendants of Thomas Etheridge, who owned 6 people. Former U.S. Senator Roy Blunt and his son, former Governor Matt Blunt, also descend from enslavers, plus former Representative Sam Graves also descend from enslavers. In 1860, the major industries of Missouri were agriculture and mining. Those industries took full advantage of slave labor. The 1860 census of Missouri listed 114,931 slaves, 3,572 colored people, 1,182,012 people that were classified as white. When it comes to the lionization of pioneers of Black American progress, I nominate Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, Neely Fuller Jr., Dr. Claude Anderson, and of course, Dr. Martin Luther King. Black Americans in St. Louis need protected class status. Reparations can never be existing programs. That is not repair. Housing vouchers is not repair. Our enslavers gave us housing. Our enslavers gave us education. That is not repair. Our enslavers' descendants gave us free health care. That is not reparation. That's not repair. You ask, how do we pay this debt? Missouri is selling $4 million a day of medical and recreational marijuana. A tax levy could very much take care of that situation. We have, and with this conclusions, I'm going to take a excerpt of Dr. Martin Luther King's "I Have a Dream" speech on his March on Washington. We have come to our nation's capital to cash a check. When the architects of our republic wrote the magnificent words of the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence, they were signing a promissory note to which every American was to fall heir. It is obvious today that America has defaulted on this promissory note insofar as her citizens of color are concerned. Instead of honoring this sacred obligation, America has given the Black American slash Negro people a bad check, a check which has come back marked insufficient funds, but we refuse to believe that the Bank of Justice is bankrupt. Thank you. Okay, I'm about to fast forward to Brother L's statement.
Oh. Down to,
Okay, here we go.
When it turns into St. Charles Rock Road, it looks like a wasteland. They do not want us to succeed over there.
Okay, there we go.
Academy, Sherwood, Sherman Park neighborhood. And I came to speak about my view, well, not my view, but how I believe we should get this reparations claim. Because it's really based in the financial abuses that they have put on the Black community. Like they have intentionally destroyed our economic activity, all the businesses. You go down MLK from Grand, I mean, not even from Grand, from Jefferson all the way down to, I mean, almost when it turns into St. Charles Rock Road, it looks like a wasteland. They do not want us to succeed over there. I mean, they know that's where we live historically. And on top of that, the financial abuses started all the way back in slavery. You know, they love to make the slaves sound like these inadequate people that didn't know how to do anything, but they built all the buildings around us, all the old buildings. All they were skilled laborers, and they love to refer to them as nothing or just in the field all the time. But the field work was even harder back then because they didn't even have machines. But we figured it out. And so even when figuring it out, we weren't paid the same. And I think that's the real problem with what happened. They did not pay us what with all the labor that we did. We've done labor for 400 years and we haven't been paid the same. That's why we need to demand cash reparations. I mean, from even up to today, and it looks different, but it's the same thing. Not getting promoted to the supervisor job, or not even being or even having incredibly low home valuations. Your house could be 3 stories, have 7 rooms in there, 3 bathrooms, but they still value it under $100,000 because they don't want to live in that neighborhood. We need direct cash payments into our bank accounts for the whole family. You know, if I had to put a number on it, I'm demanding $500,000 a person for each family, and that's just how I see it. You know, thank you for your listening. So those of y'all that were live, though, that's in the jumbotron, and the complete commission is jumbotron. But that was Brother L, the host, me, and the mortal statement to our commission, and that we've been requested plenty of times by the commission to transcribe and to submit that so they can place that into the study for their recommendations. So that's what we've been doing. Thank everybody that came into the spaces. And anybody else, Brother L, you there? He might be he working too. Immortal, you can you grab the mic for a minute? Do you wanna shut it down so it don't be too long with recorded space?
That's right. You was reading my mind, and I think we've covered a lot here. Shout out to everybody who came through. Shout out to everybody who's going to come in and listen to it later. Um, we all we got in the Black community. Nobody's going to come and do this for us. Even though it is a local reparations commission, I think we should handle it the same way we've handled reparations commissions in other places like California. I think that we have to let them know that the nation is looking at this. So if y'all could do that, just let them know that the nation, the whole nation of Black Americans is really looking at that. We're interested in what's going to happen with your brothers and sisters here in St. Louis. So I really appreciate y'all. And yeah, let's keep it. Let's close it out if nobody else has anything else.
Brother L, you there? Cause he gonna have to be the one to shut it down. Hold on. Let me get him on the back end.
I just wanted to say y'all gentlemen did a great job and keep up the fight. That's uh, like Immortal says, just keep it like it is for everything, no matter if it's local, state, federal. Um, the price the same. Our talking points are the same, so there's really no change. There's really no change to tactic. Is what is owed. I'll just land there.
All right. He's back. All right, go ahead and close it down, brother L. Thank y'all.